G'day everybody and happy Friday to you all. Look, I just want to take a second to talk about the Prime Minister of Australia, yet that bloke, Albo, who seems to be in the news for all sorts of wrong things these days. Well, always has been. I'm pretty sure that you've all seen the clips from his podcast with Nikki Osborne, where he referred to who he'd prefer to shag out of some particular female celebrities. But the bit that upsets me more than anything is his comments about the melons, the gift that the Japanese Prime Minister had brought to him. Look, I have spent my entire life working in male-dominated workplaces. You know, I was a spare parts interpreter at a Ford dealership, and then I joined the police service. I've been surrounded by men. I've heard every joke under the sun. But this one just takes the cake. He is the Prime Minister of our nation. And to make a joke and reference melons and how, oh no, she bought 2 melons, and then to have the podcaster take his joke further by referencing, oh, so she did what, you know, did the Pamela Anderson, the look, and bought 2 melons along, and he didn't even correct her. He went with it. He thought that he was funny. I have a daughter and a son, 18 and 14, I have spent my life with them, raising them with morals and values so that they have respect for women and respect for all humans. To see the Prime Minister of this nation sit down in an interview and make reference to melons and women and shagging, it's disgusting. We need to make Albo go away. Everybody jump on the One Nation website and buy one of these hats and wear it every day of the week, because the man does not deserve to hold the title that he does. But on a good note, as I said, it is Friday, so have a fantastic weekend, everybody. God bless you all. And like I always say, God bless Australia, the most amazing nation in the world. See you later.
Commanding the Narrative podcast, which I believe is the #1 podcast in the entire universe.
If you could go through life in the Liberal Party without being expelled, you should be ashamed of yourself.
We will decide who comes to this country and the circumstances in which they come.
Socialists don't like ordinary people choosing, or they might not choose socialism.
120 years ago, our country had the world's highest per capita income. What the hell happened?
The answer is mate, because I want to do you slowly. I want to do you slowly.
Ah! We're coming for you, globalist! Ah! Coming for you!
G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Commanding the Narrative. My name is Stephen Tripp, and thank you to everyone who is watching this. If you are watching this live, as I say every single time, you can contribute. We want to hear from you in the chat. You can make a comment or ask a question, make a statement, or abuse us if you want. That's always fun as well when we get the trolls in the chat. And if you're really feeling up to it, you can hit that link to StreamYard and call in and speak to us as well. We always love it when people call in and we can have a conversation with you, the listeners. The best episodes are the ones that are more interactive. So we've got a great panel on tonight. So we want it to be as interactive as possible with some great topics to discuss. But as I said, we do have a great panel here today. Firstly, Councillor Zahra, thank you for hosting us.
That's all right. You're very welcome, guys. It's so good to have you here, actually.
Yeah, and what do you call Councillor Steve Christou?
I call him Councillor Royalty.
Yes. Welcome, Steve.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Don't embarrass me like that. But look, I'm very happy to be on, guys, and I'm sure we're going to speak about a lot of interesting stuff tonight, and I look forward to it.
Yeah, and of course, you're a councillor with Campbelltown City Councillor. You're a former mayor.
Cumberland. I'm Campbelltown.
Oh, sorry, mate. Cumberland City Council, former mayor as well, and you're often in the media and a big hero during COVID as well. We've had you on in the past talking about all that stuff, so it's going to be very interesting to hear from you tonight because you've been in the media as well, which is always fun. So
absolutely,
yeah, it's going to be great. And another Western Sydney boy, Michael Andjelkovic, local community campaigner and
independent community campaigner. That's it.
Yeah, and former host of the Pulse.
Yeah, the Pulse is flatlined. Forget it. It's dead.
Oh, that's a shame.
The heartbeat is gone.
But you were in community radio.
Yeah, for about 18 months.
Yeah. So,
until the pin got pulled. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's a pleasure to have you all on.
They pull, yes, it is. Sorry, but they pull the pin because you get too close to the target, right?
Correct. You only cop flack when you're over the target, as the saying goes. Exactly right.
So you gave someone a heart attack.
Well, I don't know about a heart attack, but unfortunately things happen for a reason, and it's worked out quite well. I think that served the purpose, and we'll look forward at looking forward to moving forward.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, well, let's kick things off like we always do, and that's just by letting everyone know about how you can follow Commanding the Narrative and keep up to date with all our podcasts, and it's by heading to the website. As you can see, me turning off to the monitor. This setup's always fun at Adam's place, but head to commandthenarrative.com and you'll see all the previous podcasts that we've done. Last week, we're talking about the economic situation of Australia in the last 20 years, from surplus to $1 trillion debt. So, the slide we have been on has been incredible, and going through some of those numbers was really confronting, actually. But check that one out. And 2 weeks before that, we were back here with Adam and also Richard and Sam talking about whether or not Pauline Hanson is on the track to be Prime Minister. So that was an interesting conversation. So all the podcasts are on the website. Also, recent articles as well that I've written, you'll find up there. And if you want to know who's coming up on the podcast this week, you'll find it on the website as well. So it's all there, commandingthenarrative.com. And if you would like to contribute to Command the Narrative in any way, as you know, I've been talking about in the last few weeks, currently putting a studio together so we can do more panel discussions like this. It's almost finished. Hopefully, maybe if all goes well, we can do the next one next week. So we'll see how that goes. But if you want to contribute in any small way, please head to Buy Me a Coffee and throw us a few dollars there. Helps to pay for that. Also helps to pay for the streaming services and the website. And most importantly, gives me a very warm and fuzzy feeling inside, which is important. Keeps the motivation going. And lastly, I would just want to let you know about Australians for Better Government. Everything that we are trying to achieve with Australians for Better Government is up on the website, australiansforbetter.com. It's all about reforming our system of government, and all our proposals are up there as well, including our merch shop as well. People have been asking for T-shirts and hats and whatever. So all of that is on the website. If you hit the merch button, and you'll see all of that, australiansforbetter.com, and hopefully we'll be talking about ABG a lot more in the weeks to come. But tonight's episode, a lot of fun topics to discuss. So let's jump right into it. Now, wonderful Prime Minister has been in the media. Why is that? Oh, look. Yeah, hold on. It's not. The internet's doing some funny things to me tonight. Let me just bring that up. But he's been in the media. He recently did a podcast that doesn't want to play for some reason. Let me try and go back. Maybe we'll come to this one.
So Stephen's a really big fan of world wrestling, especially the old stuff. All right, so that's why there's Goldberg versus the Giant.
Yeah, I don't know what. Maybe. Hold on. Maybe I'll move that out of the way. Okay, so he was on the Bush Deep podcast. Have you guys seen it at all?
I haven't seen this particular one, but I have followed her in the past and watched some of the stuff that goes on.
Yep.
Yeah, I just saw the cringeworthy film clip when he wants to shag Kylie.
Yeah, well, that's the one. The one that we want to talk about is this one here. Let's play it now, and then we'll get all of you to react, because this is the Prime Minister of Australia.
Well, we're at rapid fire questions now. Every guest gets asked these: shag, marry, date. Kylie Minogue, Nicole Kidman, or Rhonda Birchmore?
I've just got married. I'm only 6 months in.
But if it goes tits up, let's just pretend.
Oh, Kylie, clearly.
You'd marry Kylie and shag her and date her?
All of the above.
All right, it's a triple.
She's terrific.
All right, that's fair. What's the capital of Australia?
Okay, so that, as I said, that's the Prime Minister of Australia talking like that. Now, Councillor Steve Christou, I mean, you've been in council for 10 years now.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you as a councillor speaking like that, let alone the Prime Minister speaking like that. I mean, maybe the boys at work or something like that, they might say that sort of thing. But when you're representing a high office, do you think that's acceptable?
Well, look, I'll say this. Can you imagine a right-wing male politician, someone the likes of John Ruddick, myself, or Malcolm Robert, saying they want to shag Kylie and all of the above? There'd be outrage. Absolute outrage. Scott Morrison, Peter Dutton.
Yeah.
You know, outrage.
Yeah.
You know, tears flowing, you know, women's violence.
Misogynistic. Oh, mate, they love that word, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to me, was just that he's meant to be the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, the whole, like watching it, you know, I watched it with an open mind. Okay. A lot of people say he's a good bloke behind the scenes, blah, blah, blah. But he just came across as very awkward. Like he didn't seem to like, and it took me back to what Samara said recently when they're looking at some of the polling as to why people are leaving the major parties. And they said, because most people feel as though these politicians are not us. They're not everyday people. They can't interact in a way that most people would. And that's what came across to me with Albo. Yes, that clip was bad, but overall, he was very awkward and just didn't seem to gel.
I think people have had enough of the absolute hypocrisy. Right? The left make a habit of lecturing everybody about morals and standards and whatnot. And maybe this would pass a pub test if we weren't so lectured to by the left.
Yeah.
But because Albo does it, he gets a pass from his left-wing mates and whatnot. And most people, a silent majority, aren't going to cop that.
What about you, Michael? What was your thinking?
Look, I've watched Nikki, the Bushy, I think she calls herself, and she's a comedian and quite funny with her skits and that. But when it comes to the PM talking about shagging anybody, I think it's probably inappropriate.
Do you think he was maybe infatuated with Nikki?
Well, I don't know.
Sitting across from her, she's dressed the way she's dressed. Because there were a few other little comments that he let fly.
I haven't watched it all, and so I can't really comment. This is the first time I've heard about it.
Yeah.
And look, it's probably not the right question to be asking the PM, but if they're standard questions that she asks every guest, you would think he'd be prepared.
What about you, Adam? You're a hot-blooded male. Like, how would you react to that?
I'm not going to defend Anthony Albanese, the Prime Minister here, right? Looking at it again, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a casual I think the problem with Albanese, I think, is that he tries like also too hard. I think he wants to be like the cool cat, like in town, and he's not a cool cat.
Yeah.
He is literally the most uncoolest person probably in the media as we speak.
That's what came across to me.
Right.
Like, this bloke just seems completely like a fish out of water.
Right. Like, would he have a chance even with Kylie Minogue? Probably not. I probably would have said, look, you know what? Those ladies are out of my league. If I would have even made a comment on that at all. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would have probably said, oh, you know what? I'm the Prime Minister of Australia. I think it's best not to.
He started off saying, hey, I'm 6 months into my marriage. Like, that was it. That's all he had to say.
Yeah.
I'm married.
Tits up.
Yeah, that's right.
I just think he's a terrible Prime Minister.
Yeah.
I don't like the guy pretty much. I don't know him personally, but I don't like what he stands for and what he's been doing to Australia. But at the end of the day, it was a casual interview. I think he probably got caught off guard, but as you guys have already said, he probably should have been prepared for that. And surely he would have had a spin doc to be able to write something where he could, come across kind of cool, but avoid the question as well. Because, I mean, ask him about energy policy or ask him about why Australia's cost of living has gone up, and he can spin that any direction he wants.
Yeah.
So a simple question like a schoolyard question like that, she should have been able to spin straight away.
I've got a few comments already, so thank you everyone who's in the chat. Jenny says, hi, my first time to watch this channel. So glad I caught it on Facebook. Great to see some councillors who are on the right side, and for Australia, we need many more genuine people. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
For joining us. Katie says, rules for thee, but not for me when it comes to Albo.
Yep.
Dilemma says, I think the drama about Albo's comments is a bit overblown, but shows all One Nation have to do is to beat Labor is to do nothing. Keep winning. Albo's dropping so many balls. What do you guys feel about that? He's almost. I felt that when we went up against Dutton too, but then see what happened there.
It's Labor's election to lose this time.
Yeah, well, they say governments lose elections, right? And
that's right. Well, give him enough rope.
Yeah, that's right.
Just keeps hanging himself.
Yeah. Katie also says, I always judge people on whether I would leave my kids or pets with them to be looked after. I wouldn't leave my pot plants, let alone my kids or pets with Albanese. Shay says, lefties are the biggest hypocrites on the planet. And we've got a whole bunch of other comments coming in. I won't read them all out because I want to play the next clip, because it wasn't just that one as well. I mean, it was a 20-minute interview and there was packed full of different things you could talk about. This one is what Katie was referencing in the cold open. So let's bring this up, and then we'll get you guys to comment on this one.
Defeated or walking? What's the most crap gift you've ever received on an overseas jaunt?
Oh, gee. Tell you something I got recently here that was pretty strange, but ended up being quite good.
Yeah.
Was a melon. The Japanese Prime Minister brought a melon.
How did he get that through customs?
It's a royal melon.
Oh, she smuggled. It was a she. Did she smuggle it?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm expecting.
Got a couple of melons.
She brought two.
She brought two, as you do.
She just came in looking like Pamela Anderson.
She brought two.
Yes, really.
And they're beautiful.
Speaking of melons, I've got you a crap gift. Hang on. I wonder what that could be.
Oh.
Yep. It's my melon on a mug.
Oh, fantastic.
There you go.
I've got mine.
And
your gift I've given you.
Yeah, you gave me your beer, your bonbonieri from your wedding day.
From the wedding. 6 months in.
Still in honeymoon period.
Absolutely.
Yeah, still bonking like rabbits.
Well, when we have time.
Yeah, that's fair. That's what happens when you get married. You got to schedule it, don't you?
After the footy.
After the footy.
It's always a good aphrodisiac, a south wind.
I appreciate that.
Come on.
So that's what I mean. There's plenty of little nuggets in this one, Adam. So I mean, again, Prime Minister, maybe behind the scenes having this conversation with someone one-on-one, fair enough. But when you're speaking to a national audience, potentially an international audience, I mean, people from other countries maybe watching this, wonder what the Australian Prime Minister is like. Well, here it is.
Well, that's, as my kids would say, cringe.
Yeah.
That is actually, I think that's actually far worse than what was said about the Kylie Minogue scenario.
Yeah.
Like melons, derogatory, referring to melons, those kind of things. That's not really Prime Minister like. I mean, we look at our leadership, meant to look up to them. And unfortunately, I think,
especially when you're speaking about another world leader.
Well, I mean, even that's
Japanese
offensive.
Prime Minister.
The Japanese Prime Minister, what was a crap president, but turned out to be a great president. I mean, it's a crap, like melon, and that's a good question. How did they get it through customs?
Yeah, with all the quarantine.
With all the quarantines, right?
Yeah. And look, with all due respect, Bushy does take things. She's a comedian, and she tries to push that line.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm surprised that he wasn't better advised and wasn't better scripted on what
so we've got
to take, because he's trying to be a normal, run of the mill type bloke. Yeah, it just didn't come across.
We've got a comment here from Jenny, and that might tie into what you just said. Jenny says, I think he did the podcast to take people away from looking at the corruption in Victoria with the CFMEU.
Yeah, right.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know.
I think that something to divert and deflect attention away from all the...
Yeah, well, he's definitely done it.
It comes across, he's just trying too hard to portray an image like, look, I'm one of the boys, I'm a bloke's bloke, and it's not him. It's not naturally him.
Yeah.
Okay. He's perceived as a very weak Prime Minister, somebody dictated to by his own cabinet, especially the female warlords that run the Labor Party behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to portray an image. He knows he's in trouble, and he's trying to portray an image out there that's not him. Look, I'm a bloke's bloke. I like girls just as much as anyone. But to say that on a national platform, like, come on, like it's very bad, very cringeworthy.
And one of the other things, I won't play the clip, but he was asked, "What are your opinions of Angus Taylor?" And he didn't have anything to say, really, not even anything nice to say. And even Paul Keating would acknowledge, John Hewson and John Howard. Like, he would say, okay, they're my political opponents. I don't hate them, but for me, that just hearing that really reflected more on Albanese's character, more, not so much what he said. It's about actually who the man is.
Yeah.
The fact that he doesn't even want to take the opportunity to acknowledge his...
He could have taken the high road. He could have said, I wish him the best of luck. He's got a difficult job, and I wish him all the best, and move on.
I felt like Albanese just wanted all the attention on him.
Yeah.
He didn't want to talk about anyone else.
Yeah.
He just wanted to talk about himself.
Well, I mean, we've seen that in the past at some of the protests that he wasn't invited to, that he spoke at. I mean,
I'm the Prime Minister.
I can speak.
Yeah. Yeah. You were in the Labor Party previously, Steve. Some people might not even realize that, because you're you're viewed as so much of a conservative now, and that was back in the day when you had right-wing Labor. Did you cross paths with Anthony Albanese?
Absolutely, I did. Look, I worked for 10 years for a federal member of Parliament, a bloke called Laurie Ferguson.
Yep.
So him and Albanese were factional enemies.
Right.
Anthony was from the hard left, and Laurie was from the soft left, and there's history there.
Yeah.
So I knew a lot of the details and the behind-the-scenes movement. Laurie actually beat Anthony Albanese for the seat of Reid, because Laurie's father held the numbers, Jack, the Deputy Premier.
Yeah.
And Anthony worked for Tom Uren, the former minister and war hero and veteran.
Yeah, okay.
And when Tom retired, I think he had his sights set on Anthony taking over the seat, and it went to a massive pre-selection brawl. And,
right.
Yeah, Laurie's father came out on top and got Laurie elected.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I met Anthony on a few times, you know. And
what was your opinion of him back then? Because I know there's that famous quote of Bob Hawke saying that, you know, oh, that's Albo. He wants to be Prime Minister, but he's not going to get there. Were words to that effect.
Albo, look, in my opinion, Albo is a political beast, a political warlord. That's the way I knew him. Controls the numbers very heavily, very tightly, very much intertwined with factional dealings and, you know, and whatnot. So there ain't a factional trick or political trick that Albo doesn't know, whether we like him or not. All right.
Yeah.
And that's a dark side of the Labor Party factional. Like a dark
My
arts.
understanding is
the Liberal Party's not much better.
Oh, that's for sure. But my understanding is that Albanese is now on the soft left. Is that right? Or is he still hard left?
No, he controls the hard left.
Yeah.
So the soft left used to be the Ferguson, Gillard faction.
Yeah.
You know, those people.
Yeah.
But the hard left, I believe, is Plibersek himself.
Hmm.
You know, used to be people like Vavakinu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
see, that my opinion, like what we're seeing with the Liberal Party right now is almost like crystal ball, I feel, of what could happen to the Labor Party, especially when they lose government. They're going to lose government at some point. And that's when a lot of their members have been in Parliament a very long time. They're not going to want to be in opposition again. So they're likely to retire. There's going to be a big power vacuum in the Labor Party. And hey, the Labor Party were the ones that wrote the rule book on factional infighting.
That's right.
So what do you see happens to the Labor Party when they lose the next election? Do you think there will be a similar situation to what you're seeing with the Liberal Party?
Well, personally, I hope they're never back in government anytime soon.
Yeah.
But what I think is going to happen is, at least, whether you like it or not, at least the Labor Party stands for something. They stand for idiocy. And there's enough. There's enough idiots that'll give them a solid support base. Whereas the Liberal Party don't stand for anything. They don't, you know, they don't know if they're true conservatives, if they stand for idiots, if they stand for climate hysteria.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's turned people off the Liberal Party.
Yeah.
And I don't think Labor's quite there yet. Okay.
They're not, but I'm looking.
They're not. Yeah.
You know,
in the future, it's a possibility, but I don't think anyone can stoop as low as the Liberal Party has at the moment.
Yeah. Michael, you going to say something?
Oh, just that the Liberal Party have become so wishy-washy that you know don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Labor light, you know, Liberal light. Who knows?
We
are
are
definitely left of where they used to be.
You guys are in Western Sydney, and you know, obviously you're a community campaigner. You've got a lot of tentacles everywhere.
Southwest Sydney, yes, is my domain.
So
domain.
What we've seen in the UK with reform is they took a lot of seats off working class Labor areas. Do you think we'll see the same thing with One Nation taking seats off Labor in Western Sydney?
I think One Nation has more reach up in the rural and country areas. There are some suburban seats. Whether they will be able to take Labor on in sort of southwest or Western Sydney will be interesting to see. Certainly they'll get numbers. Whether it's enough numbers to take them off, the Liberal Party haven't been. I can only sort of comment on. I follow my area well, which is based around Liverpool. Yeah. So at a federal level, that's Werriwa, and Werriwa has been a Labor Party seat for years and years. It was Gough Whitlam's old seat. I mean, the last two elections, the last three federal elections, the numbers haven't moved. They've sat around low 30% for the Liberal Party, and they just haven't been able to make ground at all. 32, 33, 34%.
They also get a massive informal vote there.
Yes,
5%.
Large informal vote.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that high, I don't think. I think it's been 10 to 12.
Yeah, when you add the people that didn't turn up, 10%, and also the people that voted informally,
it's up over 20% for sure. But the Labor Party end up with, you know, generally they go in the mid 40s plus the Greens and preferences, and they get over the line.
Yeah.
Certainly, you know, in other seats, MacArthur's been an interesting seat to watch. Angus Taylor, Hume also is, you know, like that's a seat that's going to be interesting to watch at the next election to see how he goes.
Yeah.
But the last federal election, Hughes, which was Craig Kelly's old seat, you know, Jenny Ware won that. after Craig left the party, and that became a Labor seat. You know, and that's basically the Shire.
Yeah. Steve, you're going to be running at the state election for the seat of Granville, which is held by Labor. And we've been talking about that a little bit later. You're going to be running for the Libertarians, which is similar to One Nation. So, I mean, you're campaigning already. You're already endorsed. I mean, what are you seeing on the ground? Are people starting to question Labor? I mean, is a rock solid support in Western Sydney still there, or are people starting to splinter away?
People are absolutely questioning Labor, but the issue is that we're facing over in the seat which I'm campaigning for, the state seat of Granville, which overlaps my council ward. They've got a 21.2% buffer.
Yeah.
Because the Liberal Party ran a non-campaign last election. However, people are fed up. People are telling me all the time, we are fed up. I was talking to an old man in Delwood, South Granville, the other day. I was waiting for some takeaway fish and chips. And he said to me, mate, I'm just fed up. He goes, I want to vote One Nation at federal. And he goes, and I know you're standing, he goes, as a Libertarian, I've always voted for you at council level. I'm going to go with you because, he goes, I've voted Labor my whole life and I've had it.
Yeah.
You know, just broken promise after broken promise. And his exact words were, mate, we're a working class around here and all they care about is woke zealots and the,
I'm interested. I mean, do you still have connections with the Labor Party? Like, is there still people that you talk to? What are they saying?
Yeah, look, the ones with any common sense, they're a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
But the realities are the Labor Party take Western Sydney for granted.
Yeah.
They treat the people there as second-class citizens.
Yep.
It's a safe Labor seat. We're always going to get elected, so they rarely give it any infrastructure upgrades. I could name you a few, like Westmead Hospital, still 12, 14-hour emergency waiting times.
Yep.
They promised in my electorate in 2015 they'd bring back express trains from Granville. They haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
They promised a second school at Westmead. They have not done that. They've cut the M91 bus route going to Bankstown in the city. I mean, Bankstown in Hurstville.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people have complained to me about that.
Yeah, I disagree though, because it's been different. Certainly at a state level, out here in southwest Sydney around the Liverpool area and that, we were neglected for 12 years under the state Liberal government, and yet the last almost 3 years now that the state government's been in, we've received more funding and more state funding, certainly, for infrastructure projects than we ever did before. So we've had
but there's no major infrastructure happening. No, but like I know because I work in construction. Like, there's no more like big West Connects projects or city.
Well, we've got the Southwest Rail Link is being worked on. So there's been $1 billion put aside for the acquisition of land there. There's been $1 billion put aside for the expansion and extension of 15th Avenue from Cow Pasture Road out to the airport.
But that's all for the airport. The only reason they're getting funding is for the airport.
Yeah, the airport is getting the
that was already and that was a legacy project.
Yeah.
You know,
you've got to be realistic about
there's been funding for upgrading the hospital. Liverpool Hospital is now one of the biggest hospitals. That was funded by the Liberal government. I will give them that.
There you go. Come on, mate.
So,
not that we're defending the Liberal Party, but
but there's been plenty of public schools out in this direction. I've been involved in 4 campaigns for getting funding for public schools in the area, and that's been great to see that we've had over $200 million put into public schools to build them, both primary schools and high schools. So,
but you also got to be realistic too, because come every election year, 12 months out before an election, the promises start rolling in. And we'll put money aside for this and we'll put money aside for that. They said last election in my state seat, they put money aside for a second school in Westmead Public to create a second public school. They didn't do that. As soon as they got elected, they took away the funding and they withdrew it.
But Adam, I mean, you went up against Mike Freelander in MacArthur. I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yeah,
or either
MacArthur federally.
It was either Freelander or Greg Warren.
Greg Warren in state.
I know, but I can't remember which one. I think it was Freelander who said after the last election, said Labor really need to start getting out of the inner city and start focusing on Western Sydney.
Yeah, I can't remember who did say that to me, but one of them did say it to me, that they focus too much on the inner city and not on the outer west and stuff like that, western suburbs. So it's true. I mean, the thing is too, right? Like even Campbelltown and southwest Sydney, it's always been the backbone of the worker. and Labor were always kind of like the party that you voted for. And now that they've strayed away from that and like gone to the Green and Zealots and the Rich and stuff like that, like they've really left Campbelltown behind. And what happened was, Campbelltown is my kind of like general expertise from campaigning and stuff, and MacArthur. And what happens is, it's true. They think it's a safe seat. They pull out one magical thing and think that they're going to get re-elected. And I think on to some of the points you were talking about before was that MacArthur and Campbelltown could be seats up for grabs. With the right candidates. So I think, right, and I'll put this out to anyone from One Nation watching, is that you need to find the right candidate, you need to get them endorsed, and they need to be campaigning now.
And he's sitting at the end of the table here.
Well, not for state, maybe federal. But what I'm saying is that you need it's up for grabs, and there's a lot of chinks in the Labor armor. Unfortunately, Greg Warren in the state election in state. He hasn't really been able to achieve anything. Okay, he lost his ministries and he's just kind of like running around doing little things. We did get what do you call it? A Service New South Wales, a new one going into MacArthur Square, but MacArthur Square doesn't seem like a logical place to put a Service New South Wales, a major shopping centre with all that traffic anyway, and then you're going to throw it in there when you're trying to. And this is where I think the detachment between like federal, state and council is, right, is that we're trying to activate Queen Street, which is the main street of Campbelltown.
Yeah, I remember.
And it's been years and years. We've got small businesses in there. The council has relocated the library into Queen Street to try and activate Queen Street a bit more. I mean, surely we could have brokered a deal on a state level with an owner of a building or a level of a building to get a Service New South Wales put in Queen Street. Okay, you're going to put flow through traffic. You can dedicate some of the parking there for your learner drivers' cars and stuff like that, and you're activating an area that needs to be activated, right? Imagine all the thousands of people go to Service New South Wales every day.
Adam's hit the nail on the head. And it shows the decline of the Labor Party in the last 15, 20 years. Back in the old days, the state MP would have ran the show, even over the councillors. They would have got together on this because Campbelltown have a Labor majority out there.
Yes.
And the state MP should be down there saying, right, let's work together on this. You do this from your end on the council level. I'll go do this from mine on the state level. Done deal. Not happening anymore. They're too preoccupied with their woke initiatives and renewable energy and stuffing up coal. And
And sorry guys, and I just found out as well is that council's not obligated to follow the green initiative and net zero. Our duty as councillors, and I just got this done in a training session, is to find the best deal possible for our community and constituents. Okay, so this is something that I'm thinking about and going to maybe raise one day as well, because I've already hit them about the green targets and net zero and all the FOGO bins and all this stuff, right? Okay, we're wasting money.
You are.
Okay, you're putting solar panels on government buildings and all this kind of stuff, right, to try and save money. Well, we already know from our conservative side that solar panels, that wind power and all that doesn't work. Okay, and you might get a small saving, i.e., on energy being used when the sun's shining, but then a hailstorm comes, those panels deteriorate. You're not generating energy at a cost-effective rate for the amount of capital that you put into it. Okay, so you're not going to get your return on your investment. That's a waste of ratepayers' money. And in a cost of living crisis, we should be abandoning these crazy things and moving towards coal-fired energy. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's quite controversial. Okay, I would like council to invest in nuclear energy. Somehow get grants, somehow start something. We've got rural areas with rivers. Let's do it.
You and I drove out to Dunedoo and drove past the Mount Piper coal plant, and you blink and you miss it. You could put that in Campbelltown, and most people probably wouldn't even realise.
That's another thing I want to investigate.
Most people don't realise when you drive off the Anzac Bridge at Balmain, that's an old coal plant there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't massive. But that's what it was.
Well, imagine this. Okay.
So
imagine
those big smokestacks.
That's
from the coal plant.
Oh, I thought it was all for wheat and barley and stuff.
There's solos in there now.
Yeah.
That originally was a coal plant, and they want to convert it into a shopping centre, but they can't because it's contaminated. Blah blah blah.
Radioactive.
Because
coal.
But I mean, that was in the heart of the city in Balmain.
You imagine doing this. You might like this as well, right? Is that we've got green fields, we've got land. Okay, right near Appin, right, where there's a colliery there.
Appin
Colliery, right? So imagine building a coal-fired power station, okay, right just on the outskirts of town, okay, right? And we know how clean and quiet and it's silent. It's actually quite nice, the fact the plant, right? Yeah. Okay, the steam that comes out of them is those little animals flying around. The only steam that comes out of it, it's only steam that's coming out. There's no smoke. Okay, you've got the coal-fired power stations. Yeah. Okay, right, and then you know what you do? You use ratepayer money and then you subsidize their electricity bills. Yes, you still have to pay for electricity. Yeah. Okay, but you could subsidize. You can say to people at Campbelltown, yes, we're going to build a coal-fired power station. We've got grants from federal. We've got grants from state. We're going to do this. We're going to put inject our money into it. But guess what? If you live in a 2566 or whatever postcodes you have, okay, your energy is going to be cheaper.
You know what the headline's going to be tomorrow? Two Western Sydney councillors advocate for coal planting.
Fine, but I do advocate for coal. I advocate. No, Campbelltown Council. Absolutely. Look, this is not endorsed by Campbelltown Council. This is my opinions, but I'm for getting the best deal possible for our ratepayers.
Yeah, I agree. And also, tell your general manager and your other councillors to check their oath of office, because when they take the oath, it says they have a fiscal responsibility to do the right thing and do the most economical thing with the ratepayer money. And they're not doing that through renewables.
Well, not through renewables. I will stand for Campbelltown Council is a benchmark council at the moment, and our books are good. Okay, so I did, and I've said it a million times as well. I thought I'd go in there and be able to blow the place up. No, as in, we don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need that. No, they're very fiscal. They are quite fiscally responsible, but I don't agree with some of the green policies that we have to do from state. And don't forget too, it's all from state.
Has your general manager done a restructure of his staff?
We've already got minimum staff anyway, as far as executive and stuff goes.
Is that what they're telling you?
Well, that's what I've seen. I've seen them go with. We had
how many staff they got?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't.
Ask him how many staff they got, because I'll tell you they're running on bare minimum, and then ask them how many lease vehicles they've got as well, because I can always trim that too.
Yeah.
Because every executive manager and every middle manager has got a lease vehicle, and they're all overstaffed and bloated on the back end. So, they want to make savings, they can start there. But they never tell councils that.
Yeah, got a comment here from Katie. Katie says, I'm here to hear everyone bagging out Albanese. Can we please keep talking about
that guy?
He's the worst Prime Minister we've ever had.
Sorry, you got councillors on here tonight, and I got to learn from Steve. So I'll listen to anything that he has to say, just so I can take it on board to become a better councillor. But you're right, Albanese sucks. I'm going to say it.
Well, if you want to hear something, Albanese was talking about balls before. I think it was trying to drop his balls on the podcast. There you go.
Melons.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one, because this is getting a lot of
this is shocking
online. Now this was an event. PM. Yeah, this was an event that happened recently in Melbourne. Actually, it was the Melbourne Welcomes Modi community event. Now, let me try that again. So I can't make that full screen, unfortunately, but so you can see here now. This was in Docklands Stadium. They had over 20,000 people there apparently to welcome the Prime Minister of India, and there's a lot of pomp and circumstance going around this. And in a moment, you're going to see a clip of the crowd and how many people were there to welcome the Prime Minister of India. I mean, how do you guys feel about this when you're seeing this footage? I mean, I don't have a problem with Indian people. I think if you are going to immigrate people to the country, Indians are great. Usually their crime rate's very, very low. They're hardworking. They focus on family. They don't cause any issues. They tend to assimilate very, very well. They integrate with our society. I mean, they love cricket and going to the sport.
They contribute.
Yeah,
they do
definitely.
Contribute. Yeah.
But still, you want people to think of themselves as Australians.
Australians.
I can't imagine Albanese going to India and getting an event, India welcomes Albanese or something like that. I mean, how do you guys feel?
A huge crowd.
Yeah,
I think Modi played him like a fiddle. I really do. He signed agreements and gave away deals, which at the detriment to Australia. We're selling them our own very cheap energy, and our own people are paying through the nose.
Yeah.
We're basically giving away our resources. And no wonder the Indian Prime Minister was happy. He would have been ecstatic. I would have gone home and went, this idiot just signed away the country's resources to us.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. Michael, I mean, does this make you feel,
we've got plenty of Indians in Liverpool, and we've even got a little India street you know, they've got all their saris and all the rest of it as well. So, but it's very interesting. I was just looking at that vision there. I didn't expect a huge crowd as big as that, and I wonder how big a crowd he'd get in Sydney, because obviously when they come, as you said, when they come out to cricket, they fill the cricket stadium.
There's more Indians there than people supporting Australia.
I want to know who paid for it.
Well, yeah.
All right, so like, all right, fair enough.
Is it from the PM? Well, it'll be funded by the federal government,
taxpayers.
So ratepayers, so taxpayers paid for this.
Yeah.
So how much did it cost? Did they charge ticket entry? Did they at least make it cost neutral for the people, or did the Australian taxpayers cop this on the chin?
What was it, a private event or was it a government?
All I've seen is that it's described as a community event, whatever that means. I don't know what.
Well, if it's a community event, it's usually free.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't say that.
Depends on. Yeah, but which community? Was it an Australian community event or was it an Indian community?
Well, was it one an Australian community event? Like, I mean, Australian citizen community event, but it's not like obviously an Australian community event.
Yeah. So Dilemmas has got a comment here. Dilemma's always great with the comments. Just imagine if Albo welcomed Trump.
I was thinking the same thing, Dilemma.
And a few other comments. Nick says this just shows the replacement agenda. Katie says maybe Albo was hoping that Modi had some melons to give him. Maybe he did. He just didn't see it. Look, again, Steve, you know, you and I were out at one time campaigning for an Indian person out of Campbelltown. I mean, we don't have an issue with that, but how much of this is about the optics of it and getting people to assimilate to the country? I mean, you guys, don't look like you've got British, Irish, Scottish backgrounds. You've all had an immigrant background, but I mean, all the footage I've seen of you, Steve, is holding up the Australian flag all the time. I can't imagine you going to.
No, look, absolutely. I come from a Greek Cypriot background. My parents are from Cyprus, Greek Cypriot. I was born in Australia. However, I've always said, and I'll maintain this till the day I die, I don't care where you're from. Okay, what nationality you are, Greek, Italian, Indian, Lebanese, whatever. If you live in Australia and you classify Australia as your home, you are Australian. End of story.
Yeah.
Okay, you can be proud of your background, proud of your heritage and your roots, but fundamentally you are Australian.
Yeah.
And your loyalty should be to Australia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then that's when I get annoyed, when we've got migrants coming out here and the loyalties aren't to Australia.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the lines of bigot and racist start. No. We welcome everybody, but your loyalties have to be to Australia.
Well, in saying that, I'm going to play this clip. This is the Victorian Premier, Jacinta Allen. I want to play her comments and then get your reaction.
Mr. Modi, I do invite you to take this message back home with you to India. Victoria respects India. We value your people. We welcome your students, your businesses, your families, your ideas. In Victoria, the Indian community is not just accepted, they are part of who we are. India is not just a country we trade with, it is a country we trust. Let me say this to Victoria's great, strong Indian community who are here tonight. You are welcome here. Your children never have to choose between being proudly Indian and proudly Victorian, because in this state you can be both.
How do you feel about hearing that, especially that last comment about you can be Indian and you can, because I thought about that. My wife's German. If we ever have to move to Germany for whatever reason, I mean, and I went to an event like that, I would feel a little bit uncomfortable. I'm going, okay, well, I'm here in Germany now. The first thing I have to do is learn German, which wouldn't be easy, let me tell you. I don't know a lick of German as it is. You think I would living in a household that you hear it all the time. But, you'd want to assimilate as quickly as possible and integrate with their society, but you wouldn't, I would always be proud to be Australian and have that heritage, but I don't think I'd want to say, well, I'm Australian and I'm German.
Wait a minute. She's saying I'm an Indian, Victorian, Australian.
No, she never mentioned Australia
Mentioned
once.
Australia once.
Right,
Okay, she should have said I was looking at that in disbelief. And the one thing she did not say is, we're very proud of our Indian Australians.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Australian
would have been
Indians.
Australian Indians.
Yeah.
That would have been acceptable.
Mm.
But what she did is she labelled them completely as Indians. They're not Australian.
Mhm.
And she said, we're very proud of the Indians and whatever. And that's not the way to run a country. Okay. At the end of the day, they're Australian Indians, Australian of Indian background.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what they are. And we welcome that.
Yes.
But we don't welcome her comments like that. Indians.
I think
That's not welcoming.
That's the thing. I mean, as you rightly pointed out, I'm from immigrant family as well. My late grandfather always said, always appreciate where you are, but do not forget where you come from. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm Australian, but I'm of Serbian heritage.
Yeah.
And I think you have an issue there. My thing is, for those people who were born in other countries and then come to Australia and become Australian citizens, they should turn around and say, okay, I'm now an Australian citizen, so I'm Australian, but I'm of whatever heritage.
Yeah.
Sorry, hit the mic again. But my thing is, when you get second generation, or kids that were born here, first generation, second generation Australian born, who turn around and go, I'm this or I'm that or I'm whatever. No. Your parents and grandparents were that nationality.
Yep.
You're Australian. That's your heritage. And that's what I've taught my kids and my grandkids.
That's what I always said. So obviously I don't look, blonde hair and blue eyed, right?
Yeah.
And people go, where you from? I said, I'm from Australia.
Yeah, but
and then they go, but where you from? And I said, well, I've got Maltese heritage.
Yeah.
I've always said Maltese heritage.
But that shows that how we've integrated people from other countries in the past has worked.
Yes.
Where it's, we look at you guys and we go, okay, whole bunch of Aussies sitting here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have backgrounds that are different than the traditional British, Scottish, Irish backgrounds, right? So it's worked. But now we've got these white people, these white leaders up there, like Jacinta Allen. And a lot of people are pointing out that it's mainly white people saying this sort of stuff. Where it's like,
absolutely.
no, well, you can be you, and we'll just accept you as you, and you don't have to integrate at all. But some of the strongest Aussies out there now are people that are not from that traditional, what you would say, white Australia background.
The British background.
The British background.
English. Yeah. UK.
So it's been working, but now they're trying to change it. I don't understand.
I think what happens is that our leaders are forgetting the Australian culture.
Mm.
Okay. And it's clear to see that, they'll welcome in Australians to their own country all the time. All right. I hate it. Okay. Then you have, is there an Australian flag anywhere there? Nothing not in any shot that I've seen so far. I've been watching it while we were talking. There's not even an Australian flag there. Don't forget, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese doesn't stand in front of an Australian flag.
Let me tell you this. We've got a comment here from Shay. Shay says the office of the Victorian Premier doesn't display the Australian or Victorian flag at the bottom of their emails.
Disgusting.
There you go.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
There you go.
So do you know what? You can't even blame the immigrants that come here anymore, because the Australian leadership, the higher leadership, has forgotten the culture, has forgotten the flag, and have forgotten what we stand for.
Yeah, well, I've made this point of, I work right near where the Sydney Harbour Bridge is, and you got two flags flying up.
Yeah.
Why? When we went to have one flag.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I was going to do a social media post about this. I got an email from Communities and Justice in response to a query I had. And I noticed down the bottom, they had the Aboriginal flag, Torres Strait Islander flag, and the LGBTQT, every alphabet flag. Right? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, where's the Australian flag? This is nuts.
Yeah.
This is taxpayer-funded people.
Yes.
And look, the thing that drives me nuts, I don't hear anyone talking about this, is the Torres Strait Islander flag. Where did that come from? And I looked it up. There's 1,000 people living in the Torres.
The problem is
4,000 people living in the Torres Strait. Like, why are we flying their flag?
It's a foreign country, though. Even if it's a small country, it's a country. A separate country. They're not Australian.
But there's only 4,000 people.
It doesn't matter. It's why are you flying?
Why don't we fly the Norfolk Island flag then, or some Christmas Island flag?
We must be the only country in the world that thinks it's acceptable, or not. Well, some idiots think it's acceptable to fly three flags. We had this very debate in council in February, or in November before the new year. A council wanted to hand out little Australian flags for the month of January. And one of the independents, Ahmed Ulf, he says, "Oh, we got to give out all three flags, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander," and that turned out in a big, shit fight, so to speak.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, got up with the support of the Labor Party and the Greens councillor.
Yep.
Yeah, we're the only country in the world that accepts three flags. America wouldn't do it.
No.
So we had, so funnily enough, we had Labor councillors, okay, we had to raise flags in, you know, on council ground, okay? I can't remember the name of it right off the hand. Bit Australian. No, I'm just joking. Right, so what happens is a councillor put forward, you know, raise the Bangladeshi flag for National Mother Language Day. Okay. And then I actually said, no, why don't we raise the Australian flag, saying that thank God that people from other nations come to Australia who get persecuted for speaking their own language can come to Australia for free, for freedom, and they can speak their language without being persecuted. So then all of a sudden everyone's looking at me like, well, that's crazy. Why would we raise the Australian flag? And I'm like, because it's safe harbor. Australia's always a place of safety for anyone to come. Okay.
We got a comment here from my friend from a couple of weeks ago that I couldn't pronounce their name. I think it's Masharana, or sorry, I'm butchering this, but the comment is, if people obey the laws of this country and use the currency, what's the problem? They can do whatever they like and identify in whatever way they like. This is a massive beat up by you blokes.
No.
Oh, Masharana, you're on the wrong channel. Don't try and troll us.
Yeah, but I guess to pick that apart seriously, like, how does it make any sense to say, well, people from other cultures can come here and just do whatever they want, don't have to obey our laws as long as they use the currency, then it's fine? Like, I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Of course it doesn't.
And the thing is, we have our own way of life. So you're coming to a country to escape whatever you tried to escape, or if you want a better life. Okay. And then what happens is just what currency doesn't just give you the right to break any law because it's what you want to do.
Well, my parents came here as refugees in 1976. Their country of Cyprus, I went through a civil war, then went through a war with Turkey. Okay. They escaped that life. But a lot of Europeans came here, worked 6-7 days a week, never had a day off. Some of them died on the job. But more importantly, they became members of their local community. They adopted Australia as their own country, and they contributed to their sporting groups, their community clubs, and pride Australia as their number one priority as their country that gave them safe harbour and welcoming.
Yeah.
That's not happening now. And we're not encouraging that now. We're not saying you are welcome. However, you need to welcome your family to Australia as well.
Yeah.
We're saying you can come out, bring your problems. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you don't identify as Australian. And that's wrong.
Yeah.
That is fundamentally wrong. And it's pushed by Labor and the Greens. And this is why this country is being flushed down the toilet.
And they're teaching people, I remember when I was in primary school, they used to teach us, oh, well, Australia doesn't have a culture, so we have to import these other cultures so we can build up our own culture.
Oh, we've got a culture.
We've got a culture.
You know what? Sorry, I love the argument of, oh, but then we won't have all the nice different foods to eat.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like,
yes, you will.
But you know what?
You will have the food.
But what I'm saying is, I don't get it. I don't get that. I don't get the mentality of it.
We stood at Assembly every morning singing the national anthem, looking up at the flag.
That's right.
That doesn't happen anymore.
No,
you get a welcome to country, an apology, and kids being made to feel horrible for something that supposedly happened over 250 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I got one more point. I know you've got some comments, right?
Yep.
Okay, but my daughter just started a new school, okay, when she first year of school, kindergarten and stuff like that. And I've walked in for, you know, the kids in year 6 fly the flag. They raise the flags up, you know, every morning. It's so, like, they don't even know which way the flag goes. Yeah. It was actually raised upside down, okay? And I had to actually go and speak to the principal and say, hey, you need to teach the kids which way the flag actually should be when they're flying. It was true. I promise it's true. I promise it. I actually I didn't make a complaint, but I actually made a suggestion. Hey, let the people know what the flag, let the kids know.
How about this comment from Innocent Bystander? The comment is, councils have been toying with the idea to add the Aussie flag on websites. It can't decide the order of appearance. You put the Australian flag first.
The Australian flag first,
only,
above
right?
everything.
It's just one flag, no other flag.
That's
it. It's simple. One flag.
Okay. All right. Few more comments coming in. All right, let's move on to the next thing.
That's
because that relates to wonderful guests. And it's this post here, which got you in a lot of hot water. So as we can see, we've adapted some of this on the thumbnail as well tonight. So
that's pretty good.
It's a good post.
Yeah.
So
it actually backfired on her, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes, I want you to discuss it in detail because so you put this post out.
Yeah.
And you've said 11 years of Labor lies and incompetence in Granville. It's time to give them the boot. At all levels of government, Labor has lied and decreased our standard of living. Can local families afford another term? And then you can then you list all the whole list of issues facing Granville.
Yep.
And you say Steve Christou is putting Granville families first. And then you say, please help with your campaign by donating to your campaign, which is every political party is doing, right? So that was the post that you put up. And in response, there was a Sydney Morning Herald article. and there was also this post put up by the object of the boot, and that's Julia Finn, who is a sitting member. And she's put this post on Facebook saying, imagine getting a phone call telling you to look up a social media post of someone kicking you. That's what happened to me recently. Steve Christou used a violent image of him kicking me on a post soliciting donations for his election campaign.
Deal with your staffer first.
It is horrific and utterly unacceptable in a peaceful, democratic place like Australia. He claims it's satire. I'm not sure what he's trying to satirize by satire, but satire is witty and funny. This is neither. It is just thuggish. Violence against women is never okay and shouldn't be used to seek campaign donations. Now, I mean, we've all heard the term, give them the boot, get rid of them. I mean, it's common vernacular.
Yeah.
She's saying it's violence against women.
Well, here's where it backfired on Julia Finn, because this story got better and better as the weeks went by.
Yeah.
I got a phone call one Thursday afternoon from Sydney Morning Herald, Jessica McSweeney.
Yeah.
And she says, this image you've put up, Julia Finn's outraged over it or something like that. And, portrays violence against women. What have you got to say? Now, I said to her, look, Jessica, I'm not, as you know, I'm very open to media. So why don't you send me the questions in an email and I'll answer you. And the reason I wanted, because I had I was going to give her the whole kit. And I didn't want her to take out of context what I said on the phone. So I responded to her and said, look, through email, Julia Finn is a major hypocrite. Her own staff member, Councillor Glenn Elmore, has ran a long-term campaign targeting myself and my wife on social media. I've provided her with the screenshots as well. And I think I even mentioned that the whole thing's turned legal. And I was in the process of getting a retraction out of him. Okay. And do you think she ran any of that?
No.
Not good old poisonous Jessica. She ran. Steve Christou said that Julia Finn is a hardened political operative and it was political satire and she should harden up. And quite frankly, she should harden up. Yeah. However, since Councillor Elmore had put up the retraction, do you think Julia Finn's done anything to address his behaviour or sacked him? I'm running a calendar countdown, and I think we're up to day 17.
Yeah. Radio
silence, Julia. Hypocrisy at its finest. One rule for others and one rule for yourself and your staff. That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the community is reaching out to me now and they're telling me, oh no, look, it's hypocrisy. When it first came out, some of us were concerned, but now after seeing what you and your wife had to go through on social media, I posted up all the screenshots. There would have been 80 screenshots of I think people would have seen it on the socials. But Julia doesn't want to acknowledge that. She initially denied and said, look, Steve and Vicky have never complained to me. I've never heard anything. I don't know anything. Well, how could you not know, Julia? It's a simple question to your staffer. Steve says he had to take legal action. Is that true? Obviously, she either knew or she never knew and she tried to deny it. But then once the retraction got made public, the radio silence is deafening.
But mate, I mean, anyone that follows your social media sees that you were recently married. I mean, you're very much in love by what how it appears on the photos. But you've also got 2 daughters as well. I mean, to think that there's a shred of violence in you towards women is just ridiculous, and for her to make those claims is just laughable.
Absolutely not. My wife, I've got a wife and 3 daughters.
Yeah. So I've got 3 daughters.
Well, I've got a stepdaughter.
Yeah.
And, my life revolves around women and these women.
Yeah.
And I grew up, doing plaits and ponytails on these girls' hair and whatnot.
Yep.
And I want my girls to be treated equally and fairly and have every opportunity in life. But I also don't want them to be, just opportunist and take every opportunity they can to kick an opponent just because they're female.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in my opinion, this is very much what I believe Julia Finn's tried to do, and it has backfired because, her staffer issued a retraction publicly and has to be held up there for a certain amount of time on social media, and she can't avoid that, but she's not answering the question. Like, she's not dealing with the fact that her staffer's actions caused my wife and daughters a lot of distress, seeing that stuff being posted on social media, seeing their dad and their stepmom being targeted on social media. But Labor never talk about that. They're quick to, point the finger at right-wing figures and say, oh, they're this, they're violent, they're thuggish, misogyny, online behaviour is unacceptable. But when it's one of their own, they always want to stay silent and rug sweep it. And they just think, we'll get over it. We'll hang tight, and it'll blow over. This won't blow over because I'll keep counting to a day election day, to a day 1,000.
Yeah.
I'll add it up on the social medias, and it's just sad that it had to get to this. It cost a family thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
For legal intervention. This is money out of our own family income.
Yeah.
Times are tough, but in my opinion, it had to be done, and this is the realities of dealing with a very hostile Labor Party. And I've been dealing with this kind of behaviour from the Labor Party since I left them in 2019.
Yeah.
When you leave the Labor Party, you are targeted for life.
Oh, yeah.
You are targeted through campaigns of, and I'm talking in general here. I'm not talking about Julia specifically, but you're targeting through, bullying, harassment, vexatious code of conduct complaints. They actively they activate their branch members to lodge complaints about you on a very broken code of conduct system. And they never stop with the false allegations. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Michael, we're speaking of false allegations and how the dirty tricks are played. Have you had any experience with that?
Recently, yeah. Having been on community radio, you have certain people that, in my case, certain people made allegations and it had to go through a process. It went to the board of directors, and because community radio has a license and obligations, etc., that was looked into, and I was happy with the way everything sort of was done. However, there were certain requests made which I disagreed with, which I found to be totally unreasonable by the complainant. And I declined to go down that path. So therefore my show finished.
So you're being the victim of cancel culture.
Cancel culture. That's it. Yeah.
Do you think we need to move past that? I know Joe Rogan was saying recently that, the people that push for cancel culture, really they're the ones that need to be shunned.
Yeah, they should be cancelled.
Correct. There are certain obligations, and I sought legal advice. I went to 4 different legal professionals to seek their advice as to what the situation was and the allegations that were made regarding defamation. In each case, I was told that it didn't meet the minimum requirements, that there was no case to be made. No formal complaint has been lodged that never went anywhere other than a formal complaint was made to the radio station, and a request was, I believe I took all reasonable steps to resolve the issue, which I've done, and have had a meeting with the complainant, and we've sorted that out personally. However, that was too late. At the end of the day, my radio show is no longer on air. It's pulseless.
Flatlined. We got you back on, mate. You can come on. Come on CTN anytime.
With things going the way they are, we'll see what happens. I might do my own podcast show, like you guys are doing. I've got a YouTube channel, and I had a platform for 8 years before that on my social media channel. So, I've already got a platform, so it's not a major issue for me. I'll just keep continuing with that, and we'll take it from there. Who knows? I may not have to worry about it if with the public inquiry into Liverpool Council coming out hopefully this week or next week,
we'll get to that.
into administration. But
yeah, I do want to ask you about Liverpool Council, but back to just to finish off with Julia Finn.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a real own goal by her because, I mean, they always say you don't punch down to your political opponents. I mean, all fairness, you are a member of council, you get yourself elected every single time, but you are running for a minor party for the state election. The Libertarians, I mean, recent polls haven't polled, too highly, but she's come out and targeted you and made this big fuss about you. That's put the attention on you, which is her own goal for her.
Yeah, look, I think she's running scared because we do have a high profile. We have been actively campaigning, and I think where she's kicked the biggest own goal is this is her taxpayer funded staff member. Paid for by the taxpayers, with this kind of online behaviour, which she's not addressing. But all it did is give us a lot more publicity and media publicity, and boosted the name recognition. Because realistically, the people that don't see this for what it is, the rusted on Labor and Greens voters, the basic everyday average person sees that this has backfired, and the Labor Party's been targeting a normal everyday average family with a constant online, you could call it harassment,
abuse, violence,
harassment, and whatnot.
Got a comment here from Katie. She says, my daughter's Catholic primary school asked all the kids sitting in church to ask God for forgiveness to stealing this land.
My stepdaughter came and spoke to me about this. With our 2-year-old grandchild, he goes to daycare, and she said she was astonished that they are doing acknowledgement to countries every morning and saying sorry.
Yeah,
and this is where they've indoctrinated them. And I said, he's got to come out of there.
Yeah. Well, I heard another story about one of the listeners' grandkids coming home from playgroup or preschool or something, and picking up the dirt and saying this is stolen land.
What?
This is what they're teaching the kids, and they don't know any better. They don't.
No.
They've got no perspective of the where they live or the history or anything like that. They're just.
But this is why we have high childhood depression these days, okay? Because all they're hearing at school and childcare is stolen land, and the world's coming to an end through climate change, and the world's going to blow up. And a 5, 6, 7-year-old listens, global boiling, listens to all this, takes it in, and thinks this is very depressing.
Yeah,
and they come home depressed. And they indoctrinate them at a young age. What hope do future generations have when they're indoctrinated with this kind of garbage from the age of 3 and 4?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, they're led to believe that they've done wrong. They're always naughty at this age. Even if they're doing the right thing, they're naughty. And that's not going to make anyone feel good.
Another comment here from Katie, and it's more of a question for you guys. Okay, serious question. What does Albo's future hold? Is he going to be thrown under the bus, or will they continue to worship him like he's some sort of cult figure?
Do you want to have a go first?
Oh, I reckon he's going. I think he's going to get knifed.
Well, there is talk about it.
I'm sure that I think that his popularity rate. I think because of One Nation's tracking so high against him, I think what happens is they'll boot him. And try to put somebody else in.
Very hard, Adam. And I'll tell you why. Because the Labor Party changed the rules a few years back, specifically to stop the constant knifings that were happening.
Okay.
All right. So I think now they've got to get over 65 or 70% of the caucus to knife.
My understanding is that the pressure is going to go on Albanese to retire and to move out of the way.
Well,
whether or not he does that is another question.
Well, I tell you what, he's on the old system. He's on the grandfathered system. All right. Mark Latham pushed to have it all changed, but the ones in Parliament, the ones coming through now don't get a generous system. They get like everybody else. But he's on the old grandfathered system. So if he goes, he realistically doesn't give a stuff. He's in a better position because he'll go on 75, 80% of his salary. He'll get that immediately. He won't have to wait for it. He's on the gold Qantas travel pass for life.
Plus a couple of staffers.
A permanent office. And staffers till the day he dies.
And he can live in that mansion on the Central Coast.
He's flushed the country down the toilet, but he gets to ride off into the sunset and live the high life. And everyone else is left to pick up the pieces.
You've got to remember, I mean, when it comes to elections, we've got federal election not till May 2028 or early to mid 2028. Still a couple of years away. The New South Wales state election is coming up in end of February, beginning of March next year. Victorian election is coming up in October, I believe it is. So it all comes back to time. And if you're looking at something 2 years down the track, if the Labor Party are going to move, it would have to be within the next six months to 12 months tops, because they don't want to be changing leaders any less than 1 year out from an election. You've got to give them at least a year to campaign and get there.
Who would it be? Because I'm hearing Mark Butler. Our friend in the chat, Mahashunda. I'm hoping I'm gonna try and pronounce this until I get it right. I need a thumbs up. He's saying Chalmers.
I think I know I've got to know Chalmers quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not Chalmers, sorry, Charlton. Not Chalmers. I don't think Chalmers.
Oh, Andrew Charlton.
Yes.
No, they're saying Jim Chalmers.
No,
yeah.
No,
Andrew Charlton would be interesting.
It would be interesting. I think it should be the next treasurer for them.
Oh yeah.
If you're picking that lineup, if you've got to.
Although he was the advisor to Kevin Rudd, which is questionable.
Yeah, and
why can't it be a woman? Why can't we have
what women
Julia?
do they have? Who's there? I mean, pick someone and let's go. I mean, you want Penny Wong? Or
why can't it be someone of talent?
Yeah,
and if you're void of that,
somebody deserves it,
male or female, somebody that deserves it. But it's going to be hard. I don't know. I personally, I think there's every chance they'll still get re-elected.
Well, that's my concern too. My concern is that they'll still get re-elected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I tend to agree, simply because the Liberal Party doesn't. It's just not there.
What happens to the Liberal Party after this ICAC thing, though? Because I'm hearing a lot, like Liberal members of Parliament are really concerned about what's coming.
Let's get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I've got it. Now
the branch ICAC of the Liberal Party.
Yeah, but if you're gonna go in and persecute branch stacking, start with the Australian Labor Party first.
Yeah.
They are the masters of it.
Yeah.
Believe me, I can tell you, 17 years in that party, I know where all the bones are buried.
Yeah.
Right? However, ICAC was not. Look at what ICAC's going out and targeting now. ICAC is not set up for that.
Yeah.
That was set up.
What my comment, I was like, why are they going after that?
Okay. ICAC needs a serious overhaul. And I think this will expose the issues with ICAC.
Yeah.
Because they were set up for serious corruption, where people on the take, people getting that huge amount of money, not to investigate branch stacking and donations to branches. This is severe overreach.
So I heard this through the grapevine.
Yeah.
Right. So, but this Liberal member of Parliament was worried that ICAC was tapping their phones, and they were saying that ICAC's probably got more power than the New South Wales Police. Who gave them that power, and who?
The New South Wales government.
But who keeps them in check? Who keeps ICAC in check?
It's meant to be the New South Wales government.
Yeah.
And, but all of them are too scared or whatever. Like Kelly Sloan came out, okay, and she said, we welcome this inquiry. If I was a leader of the opposition, I would have said, in fact, how could you go after branch donations and whatnot? Is this your remit? Are you overextending? And we're going to have an overhaul of a whole investigation into ICAC, and see, because now there's a perception out there that it's become a political weapon.
Yeah.
Okay, for the Labor Party.
Yep.
And I'm not casting on the character of the current ICAC commissioner, Hastistikos, who is, I'm not making aspersions as to his character, okay, but I'm saying there's a perception out there that you've got an ex-Labor Attorney General, head of ICAC. There's a perception that there's the other assistant commissioner now that's coming in, listening to this Liberal inquiry, comes from a Labor family. Okay, and I'm not making any aspersions as to these people's character or allegations, but you can't. There is a public perception now, and those in power that know that ICAC perhaps is being weaponized by government agencies and whatnot to take out political opponents. But and that wasn't what ICAC was set up for.
They're talking about 8 weeks of evidence. So it's like 40 days of just bashing the Liberal Party. Will be all over the media.
Conveniently.
Leading up to an election.
Conveniently.
The Liberals, I mean, you can talk about this rise of One Nation all you want, but they're still holding to 20% of the vote. What happens when all this stuff of ICAC comes out and that 20% starts going down to 15 and potentially lower? Where do those votes go? What kind of situation are we looking?
The 22% becomes 12%, 15%.
Yeah.
Okay, across the state.
Yeah.
That's the realities of it. And has anyone actually ever looked at the ICAC conversion rate on cases they deem that seriously corrupt or corrupt?
Yeah.
How many have been prosecuted by the DPP?
But they still destroy the lives.
They destroy the life of the person. There's no comeback.
Yep.
They don't get their legal representations. It's not like a court of law where you can have a full legal defense.
Yep.
You're bound to secrecy and all that.
Yep.
You can't talk to anyone about it. Your lawyers are limited in what they can object to.
Yep.
It's a very, and their conversion rate is 29%.
Yeah.
Only 29% of people they've deemed corrupt have ever been prosecuted by the DPP.
Yeah. All right, Michael, talk to us about Liverpool Council because
this is
there's a lot happening there, right?
Years in the making. So Liverpool Council, for those who aren't aware, has been under investigation and under a public inquiry since mid-2024. That went to court. Liverpool Council went to court, took the minister to court, lost. They held their election at the end of 24, but on the basis that a public inquiry would go ahead. So that inquiry became a public hearings and public inquiry in beginning of 2025. Talk about 53 days worth of public hearings.
This is 53.
52,
oh, sorry,
53. This is Liverpool.
Yeah.
Over 10,000 documents, I believe, were subpoenaed, 8,500 or 9,000 pages of transcripts. And the commissioner basically took his last submissions at the beginning of May and is based on the report in the Herald at the end of last week, Channel 9 News, I should say. That looks like the final report will be out. The thing is, the commissioner can't bring down any decisions. He can only make recommendations. So the recommendations will be along the lines of certain people may be referred to ICAC, certain individuals may be referred to the Electoral Commission based on evidence that's been given in the public hearings. Certain individuals may be referred to criminal courts. And the big possibility is that an administrator may be appointed and therefore it will go into administration for a couple of years. So that's the latest. But we shall see what happens this week.
I'm going to throw a feather into the nest. And my personal view is, why do we need local government? And you guys feel free to argue back against me. There's provisions in the federal constitution to create new states. And my view is, if all politics is local, I think we're way over governed as it is. Why can't we move to a system where we have more regional governments and abolish local council altogether and divide the states up more? Do you guys want to push
How many
back?
states would we have?
Well,
50. Should we have 50?
Well, wait a minute, but that's a bit of a libertarian stance, though, isn't it?
Why is that?
Getting rid of state government, and you could put in a lot of little local governments. John Ruddock talks about that a lot.
Well, he might do. I'm not sure.
So that's very libertarian.
But I know there's a massive problem out in rural communities where they feel completely underrepresented,
and they're underfunded.
This Brumby issue I was hearing about today, when they're culling Brumbies.
That's shocking.
Yes.
So we went out again. We went out to Dunedoo, and a lot of people out there saying, "Look, no one's coming out to talk to us, but all the decisions are being made in Sydney."
Yeah.
Even people in Cessnock, I know Councillor Quinton King talks about NSW standing for Newcastle, Sydney, and Wollongong.
Yeah.
And the rest of the state doesn't get represented. Right. So, people might think it's kooky to talk about creating new states and abolishing local government. Maybe some of these are the conversations that we at least need to have. What do you think, Steve? You've been in council for 10 years.
No, I'm just going to come out and say it. Okay. Either you give local government councillors immunity in chamber, where they where they can speak freely and they're immune from defamation.
Yeah.
Or you abolish local government. I've been in local government a long time, and unfortunately, if there was ever a waste of money through bureaucracy, incompetent councillors, laziness, if there's a strong case of abolishing local government.
Yeah.
Because they've become professional activists. the bureaucracy, the GMs, the executive staff at the high end, and the councillors. A lot of them. Now, I'm not talking about anyone particular. I'm talking my general experience of it.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just a big waste of ratepayer money.
But what would you do? So if you did abolish local government, would you still keep state government as it is?
Either you either expand state government, or and it'll never happen, or you abolish state government and you empower councils more in their local areas with the funding for the hospitals and the schools and whatnot, and give the councils a direct funding.
So it becomes more of an American type system where each...
Well, the system's broken, mate. I'm telling you now, something needs to be done because the system's broken.
Becomes like a county where
the mayor has a lot of power.
For their hospitals and their schools, etc.
Because the mayor in America seems to have more power than like a mayor in our area in Australia. You know what I mean? Like the mayor's kind of like the president of that state or whatever.
Giving some mayors more power would only just lead to more problems.
Well, what about this, Steve? Do you feel as though there needs to be political parties in council, or should they be abolished? I mean, should political parties be banned in council? Do they serve a purpose?
Well, look, people say that, but at the end of the day, you can't take away a person's democratic right, whether we like it or not, to vote for what they want. You know, if they want to vote for a political party, it's their right. Okay? If they want to vote for an independent, it's their right. You know, to say I think the major political parties are bad in councils because they form major blocks. That's my opinion on it.
Look at what happened to Adam. I mean, Adam's an elected elected representative. People voted for him. But he can't get anything done.
Well,
can't even get a feasibility report.
Having a loss in a chamber is not the be all and end all. That's a small part of it. You lose a little battle in the chamber, but you go out and you tell your community what they've done. You do your media, you do your social media, you do your letterbox drops, and you let them know what you've done, and that's your biggest win. And that wins every time. Because next time you go to the ballot box, your community is more informed of what lazy, money-hungry grubs are out there raising their rates, and who's voted against it, and who's actually fighting for them.
Adam, do you want to talk about your notice of motion coming up and what's happening with you?
I mean, that's the thing, you know what I mean? I try to put out stuff that's so neutral and unbiased, you know what I mean, most of the time, all the time. And we have a very big issue in Campbelltown at the moment with family and domestic violence. I mean, it's a big issue across the state, but Campbelltown is all across the nation, across the world. But Campbelltown's a bit of a standout as well. So I've introduced a notice of motion to actually put up some signage with, you know, a friendly phrase on there saying, you know, you're not alone. We're here to help. There is a helpline, and just give contact details, you know, so there'll be phone numbers on there, and these will be permanent street signs, no bigger than like a stop sign or no stopping sign. Posted up all around the area. And I guess it's so easy to come up with these motions. But then my battle is about trying to get it across the line, even just to get a feasibility report, you know, and this is where the party politics, I don't like the party politics is where it comes into it. So I'm an ex-One Nation guy. I've campaigned state and federally One Nation. Obviously, One Nation and Labor Party, they're mortal enemies at the moment because One Nation is doing so good. And everything that they'll just try to stop it, I believe, just because I'm a One Nation, because we've been affiliated with One Nation. When I'm actually elected as an independent, okay, got there off my own back pretty much.
Without help from anyone.
Without really helping from anyone. And then what's happened is, all I'm trying to do is put things in to help community. So I think party politics in council is quite bad. And I believe that really should be independence, and you should actually check in your membership or your statuses. Or your party, right, should actually be checked at the door. So I think it should be, if we're going to keep councils, it should be more of an independent based thing, because then things are rated on morals and values of the 15 individuals or whatever, how many councils you have.
You're right. Look, you're right. And I'll tell you one thing, a lot of these Labor and Liberal Party councillors that get elected under the banner, if they had to run as independents, they wouldn't poll 5%.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
I kid you not.
I agree.
That's right.
I mean, you look at one of our councillors. He's a non-resident, non-ratepayer who lives in Peakhurst Heights.
Yeah, right.
You know,
this is what I mean.
Yeah. All right. So to finish up, I want to talk about the bad seeds in council. Now you're on Sky News through the week, Steve, and talking about this man. I'm going to bring him on the screen.
He's your best mate.
People might not know about him, but they're going to get a big education right now.
Australian Holocaust began on 26th of January 1788. At that time, Australia was home to around 1 million Aboriginal people. These were stable societies that lived for tens of thousands of years. What followed was catastrophic massacres, genocide, forced removals, ethnic cleansing, introduced disease, the destruction of land, food systems, families, and culture. By early 1800, the population had already collapsed from 1 million to around 600,000. As colonization expanded throughout the mid-1800s, the numbers fell again. By 1901, only around 90,000 Aboriginal people remained. Less than 10% of the original population, more than 9 out of 10 were wiped out. People who lived here for tens of thousands of years peacefully and in balance with nature. This isn't about asking you to apologize for something you didn't do. It's about telling the truth, because the truth is the foundation of justice.
I think we need to
we
need to send him one of Dr. Christopher Reynolds'
Yes,
books.
I agree.
Goes back to the primary resource.
Were they peaceful?
But not only just that. I mean, there was no Holocaust. I mean, it's ridiculous to even make that claim. But I'm watching that clip, I didn't get angry. I felt sorry for him. I feel like he's getting the right. I mean, you're in council with him.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us about him first, because I did watch some of his other clips. He does look like he's working hard, but what's your opinion?
Well, honestly, I've said this time and time again on Sky News or in council chamber, his beliefs and his beliefs and his media are moronic and offensive. Okay, when you're talking about possibly Australia Day as being a Holocaust, okay, or referencing that to a Holocaust, as absolutely reprehensible and offensive. All right. And, for me, Ahmed Ulf is a gift that keeps giving, because he just cops a political kicking every time. You can't come out and say this stuff. He tried to introduce sanctions, BDSM sanctions, I think back in November in council. Essentially what they were, he wanted council to put sanctions on Israeli companies and not do business with them.
Okay.
Thankfully, we were able to get a group of councillors together and defeat that. And I led the charge there in defeating that. But again, why are you bringing these overseas issues to a council chamber?
That's right.
Yeah. This is a guy that came out from Egypt, was fortunate enough to be able to start a business. He runs a pharmacy. Was given the privilege by the Australian people of being elected to represent them. And you're going to carry on about this nonsense consistently? No, mate. I will oppose you at every turn. But unfortunately, he gets elected because there's an ethnic in that ward. There's an ethnic majority that will elect him. And give him a quota. And it should go back to doesn't matter where you're from. Are they working for you? Are these councillors working for you? And and I'm not one to defend him, but over the $100,000 in code of conduct complaints, I'll tell you this: it's a very broken system. As I said, I'm not defending him, but anyone can be targeted through code of conduct complaints. The Labor Party or the Liberal Party, they mobilise branch memberships or community group to put in constant complaints. And then this is how stupid and absurd this system is. You get a code of conduct complaint, goes out. Essentially the majority block might put some pressure on the general manager. I'm talking general here because, the general manager is at the whim of the councillors. And if they push it through to an investigation, that report might cost $15,000 or $20,000. There's only two options available to the code of conduct reviewer if you're guilty. Or if he says you're guilty. A lot of them are flawed. They can either censure you and refer you to the Office of Local Government. But that's not their decision. It then goes back, that report goes back to the council chamber so you can have a kangaroo court and be judged by your political opponents.
But isn't that just still a slap on the wrist?
Yeah. Well, I've received two, and they're public, so I can talk about it. I've received 2 code of conduct complaints after I was mayor. Okay, surprise, surprise. After I was mayor, for stuff I'd supposedly done when I was mayor. Now, in my opinion, those reports were very flawed, but that's another issue. But on both occasions, a code of conduct reviewer said, we'll censure him. And on both occasions, what do you think the Labor majority at the time voted for?
Voted for it.
Censure and refer to the office, OLG.
Dilemma says the Irish were oppressed for 700 years by the British. Don't hear us bitching about it. A few other comments coming in. So yeah, the chat's alive. I can tell you that much.
Well, I think with
some of these I can't read.
No, but I think with a councillor like that, okay, so his knowledge of history and stuff like that might
Australian
be
history
quite minimum,
questionable.
right? So what happens is, what source did he get his information from? Okay, and then did he compare? Let's say it was a left-wing source. Did he compare it with a right-wing source? How did he come up with those? How did he come up with? This is the problem. As a public figure, how do you come up with this information and then spiel about it without knowing?
I played the clip. I should have brought it up on the podcast previously, where a lot of this genocide talk is coming from Newcastle University, and the head professor there was interviewed, and the question was, you've been accused of making a lot of this stuff up, and her response was, well, all historians make stuff up. So she admitted that
it was made up.
But if you talk to an historian like Dr. Christopher Reynolds, who's actually dug through the diary accounts at the time, he's like, there was no genocide, there was no killing. The Aborigines were actually coming into the colony because they were protected and they were, looked after a lot of the time.
Well, they came behind the fences. The weaker clans came behind the fences for protection from the whites. Whites protected them from the stronger tribes.
Yeah. Particularly the women and the children, they were seeking protection. So that's the true history. That should, in a way, be celebrated.
Not about also on orders.
How far we've come, but
orders from the king or whatever to not actually kill.
So the king said that the Aboriginal people come under were his subjects that came under his protection. There's a horrible term, subjects, but basically
but that's the language back then. So we don't apologize for what happened back then to our standard, right? So
and basically to be treated equal to everyone else, because this was a fundamentally Christian society that were coming here. They believed everyone was equal,
child of God,
and that was the mentality, not this Holocaust narrative or genocide narrative that goes along. But I guess there's a fundamental issue here, Steve, and that's the issue of free speech. He's entitled to his free speech. We can't talk about restricting people's free speech when we advocate for free speech. But the whole point is, if someone like this Ahmed Ouf is out there talking about this stuff, then there should be credible people pushing back. And I know you do. Adam certainly does. Michael, I know you wouldn't have any problems pushing back against
look, my understanding is that there were like 350 tribes across Australia, and they weren't all friendly to each other, and they used to freaking have a go at each other from time to time.
I wish a lot of my I wish other council colleagues would actually stand up to him. All right, I'm the only one that stands up to him consistently. This is this is a bloke that goes out there saying globalized intifada, and speaking at these events. Bringing this kind of nonsense into Australian local government. Just do your job. You elected
rates and rubbish, mate.
Yeah, you elected by the
rates and rubbish.
That's right. You elected by the Australian taxpayer ratepayers. Look after them. Fix their footpath. Fix their potholes. Pick up their rubbish on time. Fix up your libraries and your local parks. And leave that other nonsense, at the door. If you want to advocate for that, go back over there in the Middle East and become a politician over there.
Yeah. All right, a couple of comments to finish up on. Jenny says, how can we sack Albo and co?
Vote him out.
Vote him out.
That's the only way.
Next election, next federal election.
That's the only way. Robin from Courage of the Cure says, Steve, as in Steve Christou, has courage. There are many councillors who that will not speak despite being outspoken prior to being a councillor. So
thank you, Robin. I love the time we spent on your podcast a few months back, and thanks a lot for the support.
And my good friend Maharishna, I'm gonna get it right.
Can you practice it?
I'm gonna practice it. I really am.
Break it down.
Maharishna says this man speaks sense. Or the man speaks sense. So maybe they're coming.
We're bringing him around.
Maybe
got a convert.
Okay. All right. To finish up, everyone, thank you, Mum. I've really enjoyed having you guys on.
Thank you.
We'll have to do
Thank
it
you
again
for
in the future. Maybe next time in the new studio, you might have to drive a bit further, but hopefully that would be
look forward to
it. But I want to finish off with maybe some predictions, because we get the predictions so right in this channel usually. We've got 3 big elections coming up: the Victorian state election, the New South Wales state election, which I think the New South Wales state election is going to be a big indicator of how we're traveling, particularly on the right side of politics.
Sure.
And then the federal election after that. So maybe Adam, will start with you. Predictions or thoughts about those 3 elections coming up?
I think I think what I'm hearing on the ground, the popularity for One Nation is real. Okay, I don't think the polls are fake. Whereas before, when I ran a few years ago and stuff like that, we were getting different polling figures and we're thinking we're better than we were, right? But I'm hearing on the ground, and I've actually know a lot of people over in Victoria as well, and the feeling I'm getting from there is that One Nation are going to make a big difference, which is great. I don't think they're not going to win, but they'll get seats, and I think they'll be able to be big impact. What's the next one? New South Wales State.
Yeah, there's Victoria, New South Wales,
Victoria,
and the federal.
So New South Wales, I think if One Nation put the right candidates in, they'll make a big difference. I hope Steve gets a good go.
He's campaigning already.
But he campaigns strong. You've got your name.
Thank you.
Okay, right? Like libertarianism, I think we need it. Okay, I think it's actually. I'm not against libertarianism. I'm not a libertarian myself, but I think that we need that kind of. I think that the libertarians are kind of like, in essence, the opposite to the Greens. So you need that kind of outspoken initiative, and you need that side to bring it back more to the center. So you need that kind of outward motion. So I think good luck to you. I hope you get your spot. But I think One Nation again. I think it's all One Nation. I think One Nation are the big topic, and I think they're the big. I guess they're not so much the dark horse, but they're the horse that might gain the most. Okay, and then federal election, it's too far away to call. I'm not. I understand that they've changed the rules and stuff like that, but there's always way around a rule. I think Albo. I think actually, if One Nation go really, really good in Victoria and in New South Wales, it's all going to be because of like Albo's popularity declining, and then I think that's when the party will make a move to get rid of him. I think they'll wait for those two elections, and then they'll either drive the knife or figure it out.
They won't make a move. They'll tap him.
Yeah.
They'll go peacefully, and he probably will.
Yeah,
peacefully.
Well, why not?
Well, he's got nothing to lose.
Steve.
All right, Victoria. I think it's on a knife edge. Before they kicked their own goal with the infighting a couple of weeks back between Moira Deming, who I like very much, and what happened, I think maybe the Liberals might have been on a path to government there. Because but I think it wouldn't surprise me if Labor hold. With One Nation picking up a lot of seats.
Will ICAC in New South Wales hurt the Victorian result? Do you think Victoria will look at that?
No. I don't. That's just my opinion on it. It doesn't usually get big news in other states. We don't normally get a lot of Victorian news either. I think I think One Nation, and I've always said, as long as they can staff the polling booths, they're going to do well. Okay, and they're going to do well in Victoria. They're going to pick up a few seats. I think they're going to do very well in the upper house in New South Wales. Anywhere between 4 or 5 seats in the upper house. Again, as long as I can staff the booths, handing out the how to vote. We've got a very talented candidate ourselves by the name of Gemma Noosi. And I hope people support the Libertarians as well. And it's important. We need more. We need more people.
For One Nation, you vote for Libertarians, right? That's the only way to go.
Crystal ball.
Okay, Victorian. I think the Liberals will lose. One Nation will pick up seats. That's my prediction. But Labor will probably hold government by a lower majority than what they currently have. In New South Wales, I think the Premier, Chris Minns, is doing a good job of, being the captain and guiding the state forward. However, there's a good chance that One Nation will pick up some seats in New South Wales for sure. How many? That will be the question. But it's going to be interesting. I can't see the Liberal Party sort of regaining government at this point in time. And I tend to agree with Steve and Adam. The federal government too far away, 2 years. It'll have to be a case of wait and see to see what happens after Victorian and New South Wales elections, to see what's going to happen with the federal leadership, and then move forward for there. But once again, if the polling continues and if this momentum can be carried for 2 more years, then once again, I believe One Nation have a good chance of picking up some both upper house and lower house seats at a federal level.
Okay, guys, we'll finish up with some comments. Firstly, from David. I don't know about this one, so maybe you guys can fill me in. Any comment from the panel regarding the New South Wales funded mocking of Christianity at the Old Church in Sydney CBD?
Yep.
Terrible to see the Minns government funded such a thing.
Disgusting. I received a lot of messages about that before it was going to happen, and I received messages after that. Now, last I heard, I saw a clip from Charlie Bakos, Christian Lives Matter. Apparently, they contacted the landlord. Somebody's contacted the landlord, okay, and suddenly all the promotional gear and online stuff came down. So watch that space, because the Christian groups and we're not going to let up on this, and we're going to be out there campaigning and protesting these events publicly, because it seems to be only Christianity gets bashed the way they do, you know. And I say this with the utmost respect. It would not happen to any other religion. Because you imagine if it was an Islamic religion, you know, it absolutely would not happen. They'd be outraged, and Christians should get outraged and come out and protest.
I agree. I've called on it too. Christians, where are you? Stand up, make a noise. There's only a few of us speaking.
That's the trouble. That's why it happens, because Christians don't stand.
Because we're meant to be meek.
Mate, you're the religious leader or organizer here. I mean, you've spoken to a lot of these denominations throughout the years.
Yes, I've spent many years on the Australian Religious Alliance and Religious Freedom Council and a number of others where we have numerous denominations. I did hear about this where it's a comedy, supposed to be a show or something, but certainly
they've got nuns kissing nuns. No, mate.
No. It's certainly
it's off.
But you know, the thing is,
not right.
You blame satire for anything, right? Like you can use satire for anything, like to get away with anything.
But no, Christians need to speak up. We have to stop, you know, turning the other cheek and start standing firm.
Agreed.
But you know, why is the taxpayer funding this garbage?
Yes.
Against a religious group?
That's
Doesn't
true.
matter what your religion. Why is the taxpayer funding this garbage? And the Minns Labor government need to answer for that. But the only people that can make them answerable, people need to stand up and hold them to account.
Yep. All right, guys, let's finish up a few comments here. Tony says, get Steve back again. So, Steve, you think hopefully we will get you back?
Absolutely, anytime. My pleasure.
Shay says, great podcast, guys. My friend has pronounced their name Maheshud. Hope
I can't see it. So
Mahaysh.
Mahesh.
Hopefully I got that
Okay,
right.
yeah.
Mahesh, my good friend.
Thanks for tuning in.
And also Jenny says, thank you for a great show. Yeah, so thank you everyone who has tuned in.
Thank you for tuning in.
It's been great to see all your comments as always. It's great to have such a great panel tonight. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks.
Thank you, Adam. You guys are all on social media. Michael, how do people follow you?
Well, Michael Andjelkovic, independent community campaigner on Facebook. That's my primary platform.
And we're going to see you on up on a podcast, hosting a podcast.
Look, I'll be hoping to do some YouTube clips in the near future. Certainly, I've got a lot to review. 53 days worth of testimonies.
Right.
Steve, how people follow you, and if people want to contribute to your campaign in Granville?
Very easy. I'm on all social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, X. Councillor Steve Christou.
Yeah, it's good content as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Adam.
Just find me on Facebook, Adam Zahra, independent for Campbelltown. Just using that at the moment. I'm on X and all that other stuff too. But you can Google my name actually, and I'll just come up. So just do that.
Not too many Zahras.
Not too many Zahras on there. My big face comes up, and I'm bald with the beard, so I just stand out. You know, you'll see a photo of me and Pauline arm in arm. That's what happens. That's what comes up. You know that.
Yeah. And as always, guys, if you want to follow us, head to commandingthenarrative.com. Sign up to the newsletter. I haven't done one for a while, but you will get one when I get a bit of time. A lot of my time has been going to the news studio. It's going to be great, so we can do more panels like this and you know, more regularly,
better quality, better everything, a bit more smoother.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, so it should be good stuff, and we can have some real debate. Hopefully, get some Labor people on. I doubt it, but there's a lot of Teals in my area. That would be fun. But we'll see how that progresses in the weeks ahead. So head to the website, sign up, so you can keep up to date with everything we're doing, and you won't miss a thing. So for now, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
See ya.
Take care.